My name is Suchit Patel. I am an MD PhD. I have a PhD in neuroscience. I am a practicing radiation oncologist. As a physician, and also as somebody who's been directly impacted with one of my close friends having been diagnosed with ALS, why the bill makes sense to me. It allows for expanded access to drugs that are promising under the umbrella of an existing FDA oversight infrastructure in a safe way where those drugs would be where those drugs would have greater access to patients at phase 3 clinical sites only. I mean, to me, that's a no-brainer about trying to get a drug in the hands of patients that need it most, that could have potentially life-altering impact in a way that's safe and administered by experts that are already doing that in a phase 3 clinical trial site. Part of the challenge that why this has been so difficult in ALS is because of the rarity of the disease and how trials have to be structured for a disease that is universally fatal and rapidly progressing. There was a recent trial that Michelle mentioned at the beginning of this that failed to meet its endpoint and was declared a failed trial, and yet had 35% of patients that had an objective response. As a practicing oncologist, if there was an oncology trial that had a 35% objective response rate, we would be rejoicing for a rare oncologic condition. That would be an amazing trial. And yet for ALS, we declare that as a failed trial. And that's only because of the structural limitations of a clinical trial in a rare neurodegenerative disease, again, that's universally fatal. So to allow expanded access would broaden the denominator of those patients and therefore allow us to find a signal for a trial for a promising drug that's just harder to find, that we can't do because our trials are so small in ALS. Scientific progress in one area of medicine has tremendous halo effects in other areas of medicine. So by increasing funding for rare neurodegenerative diseases, it's not like saying we're devoting $100 million only to ALS. It includes Parkinson's, it includes Alzheimer's, that includes Huntington's. When you start thinking of neurodegenerative disease and things that can change symptomology or change progress in one of those areas, that's a whole range of diseases that comes out of that have impacts well beyond ALS. This is clearly not a partisan issue. This is a humanitarian issue, and it moves the needle on both humanitarian access and scientific progress. The bill in the House clearly has broad bipartisan support, and I hope that we can see this move forward.